Hey, you are now locked in to Hard Reset with Jeuse Kastoan. Let's go. Hello, hello. You are now in episode 14. This is Hard Reset. I am Jeuse Kastoan. I appreciate you being with me today. Today we're talking about how you plan to do things and then the unexpected happens. It doesn't go as planned, and then you have to pick up the pieces and, adjust to what's going on. Um, for myself and for many people, you always have plans of how you want to do things and what you want to achieve. But then the unexpected happens, and then you have to be quick on your feet and pivot and adjust to the situation. Um, for me, one of the first things that pops in my head is, when I joined the Navy, my original plan was to do 8 years, do the first four, uh, after the first four, re-enlist for another four, and use those last 4 years to finish my degree. So that didn't go to plan. Um, what ended up happening is I ended up getting messed up after 4 years, and I was a civilian again, and I had to think of what to do next. Um, the fact that it happened, it threw me off because I actually really wanted to stay in, even though everything had happened. I still wanted to stay. I still wanted to finish and complete my original goal. But, the Navy had other plans. They felt I wasn't capable or suitable to continue on, being in the military. So with that happening, I basically had to take some time to think of a new plan. Um, Initially, when it all happened and I got out and I was in Texas, I really didn't know what to do. Uh, One thing I was able to do while not knowing what my plan was I was like, well, while I'm here in Texas, not knowing exactly what my plan is, I don't know if I'm gonna stay here or not, but I want to finish this album. That was one thing I wanted to do was finish the album. So, I was working on Dodo 2 Say Less. And I really spent the majority of my time going to work at Best Buy and working on Dodo 2 Say Less. That's pretty much all I did the whole time. And then I spent a lot of time doing that. And then once I finished, at that point I was like, okay, so I finished the album. Now what's my plans? What do I need to do? And there was a lull period where I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know if I was gonna stay, didn't know if I was gonna go. Um, the only thing for sure I knew was that, at some point I was gonna release my album. But other than that, I didn't know what the direction was. And then I just made a decision. I was like, okay, I need to go back to California. This quality of life I'm living here is just isn't suitable for me. Um, I'm not happy here. I don't need to be here. I'd rather be somewhere else. So I moved to California. Um, with that being said, I still didn't have a plan. I still didn't know what I was gonna do. At that point, I just knew I was moving. So I'm in California, and then at that point, my first plan was to get a job. So little did I know, to get a good job, it was gonna take me about 6 months. So I spent a lot of time um applying to jobs. I spent some time actually trying to go back to school. And then I just didn't have the motivation. I didn't want to go. I tried doing it online and I was just like, I really don't feel like doing this. So I didn't do it. Um After that happened, I was like, okay, well, yeah, let me just focus on trying to get a job. And then I finally got one. And then that adjusted. So then my plan at that point was, okay, well, let's focus on trying to get some properties and let's try to build my portfolio here in California. And, everything went according to plan. I got a property. I was still working that job. And then, my plans changed once I met my wife. And I was like, okay, well, I want to be closer to her. So let's move to Orange County. So, I found a job there, worked out the plan, and moved to Orange County. And then while I was working that job, I got an offer for 80K to work a government job. And I was like, well, let's start our life together in Maryland. Let's do it. Let's try it. And, let's uh let's make this money. So that was a plan. And we went to Maryland and started working there. And everything was okay for a little bit. And then they told me they were letting me go. And then at that point, my plan wasn't working anymore. And I was like, oh, okay. What do I do now? So then, what I learned at that moment was I need to plan a future and make a plan that isn't dependent on mitigating factors I have no control over. I have no control over um, how long a clearance investigation takes. Like, I have no control over it. You literally send in your information and then they investigate you and you wait for them to say, okay, you're good to go. You can do your job and that's it. And you're pretty much at the discretion of the company whether they decide whether they want to keep you the whole time this investigation is happening. So, um, for me, I just realized I don't want a job where I have to wait and depend on someone to, look out for me to make sure I'm good. I don't. It's it can go wrong easily. So, um, right then and there, um, the immediate plan was I need to find a job and I'm no longer going to look for government jobs. Plain and simple. So when that happened, I found a job working retail, but it was a severe pay cut, really severe. And the part that got me was the fact that it's like, well, I got a job, but it's like the money that we're used to making, I'm not making it anymore. So, uh, I gotta, I gotta, no, I have no choice but to make it work. Like, there's nothing else I can do. It is what it is at this point. When you're put in situations like this, you can't really let it rattle you because you have other things you have to worry about, other things you need to take care of. So all you can do is just take the hit and then be like, okay, well, what can I do to adjust? How can I make this work so I can at least stay afloat while I'm coming up with a new idea and a new plan for the future? So, that's what I did. I came up with a new plan. I was like, okay, well, I need to find a new job. It's got to be full time. It's got to be near the DC area where everything is so I can have more opportunities for jobs. And I got to finish my degree. So, all those things I did. I got the full-time job. It was near DC. Well, not near DC. It was like an hour away, but it was closer than where I was, you know. And then after that, bought a house closer to the job, which is closer to DC and Virginia. And then, I finished my degree. Then I got promoted. Like there's always going to be little snags here and there, but you have to adjust in order to make sure that you put yourself and your family in the right position. You can't let it stop you from doing what you want to do in the end, which is succeed and do well. So for me, once all this happened, my main goal, my main idea was just to stay afloat and try to help my family. And then, the original plan for my property, I wanted to hold it for like 5 years and then sell it. That was the original plan. Uh, and of course, when everything happened, I lost my job. It's like, okay, well, I don't think I can wait that long. I need the equity. I need the money from it because right now at this point, things are gonna be hard with me taking this job with the severe pay cut. So I had to sell the property. Um, I wasn't like attached to it to where I just didn't want to sell it, and I was like, damn it, I don't want to do this. It was just like, I had no choice. I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm in a situation where we need the money, so I sold it, and then that helped us keep afloat. That helped us get the house. It helped us tremendously. Um, and then I kept working the plan, and now we are where we are now. Uh, Basically, you gotta keep working towards your goals and keep working towards succeeding, and not letting little things here and there stop you from going for what you want to go for. If I had any advice for anyone who had plans and unforeseen things happen that derail those plans, I say just take a minute, um, gather your thoughts, accept that it's happened, and then proceed to brainstorm different ways you can mitigate that and put yourself on a different path to get to where you want to go. And that's pretty much what I did. And I would say we're doing okay right now. I think uh, I handled it well. You know, um, we live in Maryland, bought a house out here and everything. Like everything is okay. So I would say just stay focused and just create a new plan. Always have a plan, no matter what you're doing. Everything doesn't have to be exact. You don't have to follow it exactly to the T, but at least have an idea of where you're headed so you can know where you need to go. That's mainly what I think. Um, that was this episode. That's my thoughts on the situation. I hope you got something from it. Other than that, subscribe. Holler at me if you want to holler, do the polls. All those things. And I'll see you on the next episode.
This
Just
was Hard Reset. Hopefully, you got some. Leave a comment, answer the polls. Go ahead and contact me at Jeuse Kastoan on Instagram, Twitter, everything to go and holler at your boy.
Mad thoughts just going through my head. Expectations have been met.